Welcome to my channel. Couple of days ago I filmed video with my New Year resolutions, and there I made a promise to myself to start at least one untouched or abandoned book each month. And in order to like a small reminder to myself which books I currently own and which books I haven't started to color yet, I decided to film this video. Honestly, when I gathered all my untouched books from their places on the shelves, I was slightly shocked. Of course, I remember that I own them, I'm proud that I own them, but still, when I collected a pile of books, it was absolutely huge. I have huge amount of books now on the table, so it's definitely a good thing to film them all. And maybe I will try to analyze why I hadn't colored them yet. For some of the books, I have a good reason why they are still untouched. I have even several books for which I need to film a review, a flip through, so they are quite new. I think that I haven't shown them yet on my channel, so you can wait for the reviews soon. Next group. I also received during last couple of months. Many of them are my Christmas presents, and I was so absorbed into coloring in Christmas books by Creative Heaven and in the huge spread in Romantic Country, so of course I didn't have enough time to start using my new books. I got this Luna, this Forest Kingdom as my Christmas present for myself, this Goddesses by Kolorowanka, another gorgeous Christmas present. This one I also received only in November. Another pair of the books which I got for Christmas. And the last one is this Aries Travel Through Time. This one I received for my birthday, and I also hadn't tried it yet. I think that mostly I was confused by the very light color of the line art. It's very light gray and very light green, so even if it's very comfortable to color, I was confused how to film color alongs. I think that I still need to experiment to adjust my camera settings, and then I will be able finally to start coloring here something, because I really love pictures. They are interesting and at the same time they are relatively simple in Aries style. So here I think that I need to adjust my camera and then I will be able to start. Okay, let's move these books where I at least have some excuse why I hadn't started them yet. Next I have this pair. I wanted this book dedicated to the world of Tolkien for a long time. For some time it was unavailable, then they republished it, publishing together two books like Bestiary of Tolkien and World of Tolkien, and I was extremely happy when I got it. Then I was confused by the paper quality, because I would say that here you definitely need to work with paints. We have huge backgrounds, huge landscapes, but paper wasn't perfect for the watercolors. I only did the paper test. I realized that without gesso, without preparing paper, I won't be able to use watercolors. There are ugly dots here, so maybe that was the reason why I abandoned it. Of course, I want to color it, and now with gouache paints, with acrylic paints, maybe I need to push myself and finally I can start doing here something. And I do have now clear gesso, so I simply can prepare paper and to work with watercolors, at least for the backgrounds. So I still need to go out of my comfort zone and to be a little bit more creative about media which I can use here. But the book is absolutely gorgeous. This one I have for a very long time. It was among my first purchases on Book Depository. When I realized that exists book dedicated to the Star Trek, I immediately purchased it. And I purchased it not because I wanted to color it. I wanted it simply as a part of the fan stuff because I am a huge fan of Star Trek original series, so I simply happy to have it as a line art. If it's possible to color, okay. If I won't be coloring here, I won't be disappointing because still I have these pictures as a reminder of my favorite series. I did here a couple of pictures, more simplified ones. Here I wanted to play a little bit with the unusual sky, and the second one I simply used for testing paper for the watercolor. Paper is good, but line art sometimes is a little bit too complicated. Some pictures are really very nicely done, but here we have several artists who worked on these pictures, and some line arts they are a little bit too busy, too many black lines. Probably they simply transformed film parts of the film shots into the line art pictures, so they are not so easy to color. But maybe I will find something which I can easily color, and I will try. When I got the book, I was sure that I don't have enough skills for doing something decent. Now I am much more confident, so maybe it's time to have a second look at this book. And of course, I will be happy if I manage to do something here. Well, next I have pile of books which I already have for quite a long time, and still they are untouched. Let me adjust my camera again. The only one book, no, not the only one, a couple of books by Martin Noble which I hadn't started yet. They are Medieval Tapestries and Wondrous Woman. I wanted this one badly. My first book was lost by Book Depository somewhere. Then I reordered it from Amazon. It arrived safely, and I love each and every page here. Portraits are gorgeous and exactly what I love. Some are in national costumes, some are more in medieval style. A lot of all those beautiful elements which are quite traditional for Martin Noble: flowers, birds, animals. In portraits, they are relatively small, so they are not very frightening to start, even for those who is not very confident in coloring faces. I will try to put it somewhere closer to my working place, but maybe I will start it on spring. With all those flowers, it will be a perfect time to start doing something here. I hope that in December, when I will again film all my finished pictures in Martin Noble's book, I will be able to show you here at least couple of finished projects. For the medieval tapestries, I simply didn't have enough time. It's a relatively easy book, especially because here we have names of the tapestries which were used for this line art, so we can simply use them as an inspiration. You know that on the tapestries, if we want to maintain original look of them, we actually have to use a limited amount of colors, all those rich red, gold, green, blue. So it will be quite easy to select colors. The only thing I need is a little bit more time. The same goes for the colorless kingdom. Even if designs here they are very detailed, I think that the only thing which stops me from starting doing something here, it's question of paper. It's printed on Amazon paper. You know that I'm not a big fan of it, so I simply need some more time and some free time and final decision which pencils to use. Probably I will start with polychromos pencils. I think that I will try to start it in February because it has wonderful pictures of couples. So for the 14th of February, it will be a very good choice. Another book where I am not afraid to color, but I simply didn't have enough time. I started Halloween book, I started Mermaids, and now I need to start coloring in Alice. Among all 4 books by Jasmine Beckett Griffiths, this one probably is the most challenging. If you want to color in the style of the paintings which inspired Jasmine for these pictures, the original paintings by the famous artist, of course you need to do a little bit of study. Here we have picture dedicated to Manet water lilies, so of course I plan first to pick the same colors as we have on the original paintings by Manet to use it for the background, and in such way I will hope to start coloring here. This one was inspired by Nocturne by Van Gogh, so of course it will be easier to select colors for the background. With this book the only problem is not enough time, just like with this one. I wanted to start it this Halloween. Something I don't remember what distracted me. I think that I wanted to do it in the end of the October, then I was too absorbed into finishing Halloween pictures in Klara Markova. I hoped that I will color them very quickly, but they were too detailed, so I lost some time and I didn't manage to start this one. And then it was Christmas season. This book isn't good for Christmas season. I didn't have enough inspiration, so it will have to wait. But pictures here I absolutely love. I consider this one and Wild Magic as 2 best books by Selena, together with her fairy tales, so I'm sure that I will start coloring here. And another one of my New Year resolutions was to start coloring in each of the Selena's books, so I hope that in the end of the year I will have something decent colored here. The same reason is with this one. It's gorgeous, I love the theme, I love the art, simply didn't have enough time. Here we have 2 copies. As usual, I already know where I want to start. I'm not sure what to do yet with the big empty backgrounds. They are bigger comparing to the empty backgrounds in fairy tales, so maybe I will need to use more of my acrylic and gouache paints, so it's a little bit challenging, but pictures are absolutely great. Unfortunately, this book, it can be used only during December, during Christmas season. I wanted to do it this year, but I spent such a long time filming my reviews of my coloring book collection that I had almost no time for real coloring, and it's a bad thing. So in December I didn't have time for this beauty, and it will have to wait until the next November-December season. Well, I also have Enchanted by Selena Fennick. For me, line art is slightly less interesting comparing to her newest books. It has much thicker black lines, but some of the pictures, they are really very beautiful. I am not sure how many pictures I want to color here, but still a couple of them I want to do, especially this one, and maybe when I will start to color it, it will be easier to proceed. Next I have 3 beautiful tiny books. You know that they are quite unique because they are actually one long picture. I also own them for a very long time. It also were among my first purchases, and I am glad that I collected them several years ago. I don't think that they are still available, so it's a very rare books now. At least I think so. They all have gorgeous art from my favorite artists. Here I have Levi Pinfold, Anne Yvonne Gilbert, and another by Anne Yvonne Gilbert. So I'm proud that I own them. But they are detailed and I didn't know how to divide them into some parts. I started to do this one, so that's where probably I will try to keep coloring, because I do love how I started to color. Let me show you better. I did a very light watercolor underpaint to make doing the background a little bit easier. Paper is perfect for watercolor, and now I need to work on all those gorgeous ladies' dresses. So very interesting part. I have absolutely no explanation why I stopped to color here. I think that something distracted me. I was thinking that I will put it aside just for a week or two, and then it was abandoned for a couple of years. That's definitely a shame that I didn't anything here. And after that we have books where I am afraid to color. Not very afraid, but I know that it will be a challenge for me. Not a relaxed coloring, but a challenge indeed. Another big disappointment this December was that I didn't have enough time for this gorgeous spread in Mongol. Where it is. I hoped that it will be easier for me to start coloring in this book from this gorgeous spread. I think that maybe I will say to myself that I don't care that it's not already a Christmas season, that I still can color these gorgeous pictures. I really want to do this angel. Maybe this one I will save for December, and maybe I will start from this one. Well, I hadn't tested here watercolor paints. I had some rumors that watercolors are not the best choice here, so it's easy to color with pencils only, but I will do my own test, and definitely it's time to start coloring here. As usual, I will try to find something more simple for the beginning, because some of the pictures, they are gorgeous in black and white, but I'm not sure how to color them. They are so beautiful that I definitely don't want to mess up. But something like this I definitely can color. I already can imagine colors for both of these pages. So I just need to push myself. Next one is this adorable Thomas Kincaid book. Here again the biggest problem is the choice of the media, of what to use. I would say that here we have excessive amount of the black lines. I would prefer to have only shapes of the main elements. And they used too much black lines. If I want to go and to get result closer to the original one, I definitely will need to use either gouache paints or to mask all those black lines with Posca and then to work over it with pencils. But I can't imagine how long it would take. Look at these bushes. It's terrible work. I don't know why they decided to use such a huge amount of the black lines. It's not like coloring by numbers. So that's probably my biggest problem. But now I think that I'm a little bit more confident with coloring with gouache. I'm still a beginner of beginners with gouache, but maybe combining gouache and paints I will be able to color something here. I do this promise already second year. I still didn't gather my courage. I hoped to do something for Christmas because it has several perfect Christmas designs, but maybe I will try to find winter design and I will start from one of them. But it's definitely not a book for beginners if you want to get a result closer to the original painting by Kincaid. Next one, I have this Chinese beauty. It's a Find Color by Gugeli. And again, here we have a lot of beautiful images, beautiful by themselves, but I am not sure where to start, from which picture to start to be a little bit more confident. Here we have smaller images, bigger images, more precise. Some of the images are more in sketchy style, so the choice is good. Paper is also good. But I can't say that here color choice is easy for me. Usually I don't have problems with color choice, with imagining colors, but I am not a big uh, I don't have a lot of knowledge about this style of the paintings. I am not a big fan of them. Uh, Anime films, of the books in this style, of manga style, so anything which helped me to start doing something here. I think that my only way to start doing something may be to learn from the original paintings, and I do want to maintain such a color palette. It's a little bit unusual for me, you know that I do everything in extremely colorful way. I put all my 150 pencils in one page, and I don't think that it suits the style of this book. So I need to think a little bit more, to work a little bit more on color planning here. Well, let's cross our fingers that I will gather my courage. I already found picture which I probably can use as my start one. So maybe one day I will do it. Another absolutely gorgeous book in gorgeous edition which I have here, it's all about paintings by Alphonse Mucha, who is one of my favorite painters, so I am crazy happy that I do have this book. But how to color all those portraits? I am able to do all those botanical elements. That's easy. But what to do with the portraits, I don't know. Maybe I will try to select something smaller where I don't have to think that much about shading, especially shading in such a pose when it's extremely difficult to calculate for me where I need to pose all those shadows. Maybe I will try to find something a little bit more simple, like this one where bigger part is for the ornament, for the dress, which are easy for me to do, and maybe it will help me to start coloring. Sorry guys, I am not sure that you can see details. Again, I used a lot of light, electric light, so with very light lines in the book maybe you won't able. I'm not sure that you will be able to see all the details, but I do have a flip through of this book on my channel if you're interested, and let's hope that one day I will be clever enough and courageous enough to start doing something here. Next pair of books which I promised to start coloring this year is the books by Nick Filbert. I have Erin, I have Sirin. I'm not afraid coloring here. I do love everything here. The only thing I need is time, because they are big in size and they have huge amount of details. Apart from this, I don't think that I will have problems with color choice, with shading, because here we have a very delicate grayscale, which is very helpful for me. But look at all those details. I think that I will need the whole month for just one page. That's probably one thing which stops me from starting, but as I included these books in my New Year resolution, then I promise that in the end of the year I will do something here. Another books where the size is the biggest problem is books by Katerina Bobarikina. I have two of them, Ethno Spirit and Spirit of the Past, and it's really simply challenging to color for such a big area. As I said, I'm not very confident how to do portraits with watercolors, so maybe at least I can do the background with watercolor and try to do portrait with pencils. I am sure that if they would be printed in slightly smaller size, I would already color several designs here, because ladies are gorgeous and I do love them, It's simply the size which makes me a little bit nervous. Another book in huge size which I own is Dragons by John Howe. But honestly, I purchased this one again mostly for the line art. I won't be disappointing even if this one will remain as a part of the John Howe sketchbook. I decided to purchase this edition because it has sketches for the Tolkien's movie Hobbit, and several sketches definitely was inspired. Not inspired, they used his sketches for creating decorations for the Hobbit movies, like this one. I do love art of John Howe, and I have my Tolkien books illustrated by him, and I also want to purchase his other sketchbooks published in full color, where he published all the pictures he created for the movies. So he was one of the illustrators for the movies, and that's why I decided to purchase this one. I love to look at them. It's printed on the very good paper, so here I definitely will be able to use my watercolors. But maybe I will still leave this one to wait for a little bit, because another book with dragons, that book by Ravin Phelan, I want to color a little bit more. I do love paper in that book. Their dragons, they are a little bit more interesting, a little bit more challenging, so usually when I need to select between several books with dragons, my choice goes to Ravin Phelan and even to the Jade Summer Dragons book. They are a little bit more easier for me to color, and this one is good in black and gray, black and white, so I will simply wait until the right moment. But I am glad that I also purchased it. I am not sure that it's still available. Well, as I said, it was a good thing to remind myself about all these beautiful books. All of them I definitely will start sooner or later, but let's hope that many of them I will show you in the end of this year as the books which I finally started. Thank you, and please let me know how many untouched books do you own. I'm sure that I am not the only person who has a huge pile of untouched books, but it will be easier for me if you confirm my suspicion that you also have many untouched books. Thank you, and until my next videos.